There is a secret that most people never realize. Fortune, health, and even the harmony of a family often begin at one single place, the entrance of the home. Ancient masters of Feng Shui and spiritual philosophy believe that the doorway is not just a passage of bricks and wood, but the very mouth of energy, the threshold where destiny first steps inside. The entrance is a boundary between two realms, the outside world, full of chaos, and the inner space, meant to be your sanctuary. Every breeze that crosses it, every sound that echoes through it, carries an invisible weight. When the flow is pure, it brings prosperity, wellness, and peace. But when it is obstructed, neglected, or tainted by mistakes, it becomes the silent gatekeeper of misfortune. Think for a moment about the patterns you see in life. Some houses seem to radiate light and success. Every guest feels welcomed, and every opportunity seems to find its way there. Meanwhile, others feel heavy the moment you step in. Arguments erupt, money slips away, and illness lingers. What makes the difference? It is not chance. It is not mere coincidence. It is the subtle language of the entrance. From the east to the west, this truth has been guarded for centuries. Buddhist temples never allow a shadowed or broken path at their gateways. Monks purify the threshold with incense and salt to keep the sacred space clear. In medieval Europe, protective symbols were carved above the door to keep out wandering spirits. In everyday households, even a simple act, like sweeping the doorstep at dawn, was considered essential to invite blessings in. Yet, modern life has buried these old teachings. People pile shoes, trash, and broken objects near their front doors. Some hang mirrors in the wrong position, unknowingly sending fortune bouncing back out before it can enter. Others let the doorway grow dim and lifeless, forgetting that light itself is an invitation for energy to stay. Slowly, they lock their own prosperity outside without ever realizing it. The doorway remembers. Every choice you make there is a message to the universe. A bright and open entrance says, "Here, abundance is welcome." A cluttered, shadowed threshold says, "Here, only stagnation belongs." And the universe listens. So now the real question is this: what story does your doorway tell about your life? Does it call in fortune, or does it quietly push it away? The answer may be more unsettling than you think, because sometimes the chains holding you in struggle are not out in the world, nor written in the stars. They are right there, at the threshold of your own home.
In ancient Eastern philosophy, the entrance of a house is never treated as a mere doorway. It is known as the mouth of Qi, the place where the breath of the universe flows inward, nourishing the entire home and influencing the destiny of everyone inside. Just as a human being must breathe to live, a house must also inhale life force through its entrance to remain vibrant, prosperous, and in harmony with the cosmos. According to the principles of Feng Shui, the main entrance is not simply a point of passage, it is a sacred channel. When the door is open, clear, and inviting, positive energy flows freely, carrying abundance, health, and peace. But if the doorway is blocked, cluttered, or shadowed, that flow is interrupted. The energy becomes stagnant, transforming into tension, financial struggles, or even misfortune. The old saying still echoes through generations. A bright door brings honor, a dark door brings despair. It is not just superstition, it is a truth born from centuries of observation. From a modern perspective, environmental psychology gives us another lens. The entrance is the first impression of a home. A clean, well-lit, and welcoming entryway creates an immediate sense of relief, security, and harmony as soon as one crosses the threshold. On the other hand, a messy, cramped, or neglected entrance silently imprints stress and heaviness into the subconscious, often causing irritability or fatigue for the residents without them even realizing why. This is why simply clearing and brightening the main entrance can dramatically shift the mood and well-being of everyone in the household. Yet beyond the physical and psychological lies a deeper spiritual dimension. In the teachings of Buddhism, purifying the entrance is akin to purifying the mind itself. The Buddha once said, "When the mind is pure, the world becomes pure." The main entrance of a house, when seen as the body, is the point of contact with the unseen currents of existence. Every act of sweeping, burning incense, or letting natural light pour through the doorway becomes more than routine. It is an inner ritual of cleansing karma. A bright and orderly entrance is not just an architectural feature, but a gateway of consciousness. It reminds us that to receive blessings, we must first open the doors of our own hearts. Clearing the threshold is like letting go of the dust of old sorrows, preparing a sacred space for new opportunities. In Feng Shui, this act symbolically declares to the universe, this house is ready for prosperity to arrive. Imagine standing at your door each morning, hand on the handle, about to step out into the world. That moment is more than transition. It is a merging of the inner and outer realms, of the visible and the invisible. The door becomes a passage between the private spirit within and the vast cosmos beyond. To care for it is to honor not only the home, but the destiny of its inhabitants. The main entrance is therefore never ordinary. It is a living symbol, a threshold of fortune, and perhaps the very key to opening pathways of abundance that have long been waiting outside, ready to enter.
The entrance of a home is meant to be a sacred channel for fortune, harmony, and vitality. Yet many unknowingly sabotage themselves by committing mistakes that silently strangle prosperity. These errors may look trivial, even aesthetic to some, but in the unseen realm of energy, they are like poisoned thorns planted at the very threshold of destiny. 1. A mirror facing the front door. In Western design, mirrors are often used to enlarge a space or create elegance. But in Feng Shui, placing a mirror directly opposite the main entrance is considered disastrous. Why? Because every blessing, every trace of wealth that dares to step into your home is immediately reflected back out. Imagine money, luck, and opportunity knocking at your door, only to be hurled away by the cold glass of reflection. Spiritually, it is like rejecting the gifts of the universe the very moment they arrive. 2. Trash bins near the doorway. A bin by the entrance might seem practical, but it is one of the most toxic symbols. In subtle, energetic language, it whispers, "This house is where fortune turns into waste." Every piece of garbage left at the threshold imprints the subconscious with impurity. Psychologically, the residents begin to feel unworthy of abundance, as if they are throwing away prosperity with their own hands. 3. A squeaking or broken door. That high-pitched screech when a door is opened is not just irritating, it is a cry of blocked energy. It signals stagnation, resistance, and imbalance. Feng Shui masters often compare it to a gate in a monastery that has been neglected. The rust becomes an echo of spiritual decay. And in the human psyche, constant exposure to such sounds plants subtle anxiety, restlessness, and a sense that one's path forward is obstructed. 4. Darkness at the entrance. The absence of light at the front door is one of the gravest mistakes. Darkness at the threshold is not merely a lack of illumination, it is an invitation for shadows to linger. In Feng Shui, the dark is where negative qi gathers and festers. A dim, heavy entrance becomes a labyrinth where fortune cannot find its way in. From a psychological perspective, such gloom imprints heaviness into the soul of everyone who crosses it. Spiritually, it is like covering the gateway of the heart with a shroud, making it impossible for blessings to recognize their way home. 5. Shoes scattered at the door. Shoes carry dust, dirt, and the heavy imprints of the world outside. When piled up at the entrance, they create a symbolic blockade that repels purity. It is like shouting at good fortune, "Do not enter here, you are not welcome." The disorder also generates subconscious chaos. Residents of such homes often feel disorganized, drained, or overwhelmed, never realizing that the battlefield of shoes at their doorway has been quietly scattering their inner energy. 6. A door aligned directly with the back door. This is a classic Feng Shui warning. When the front and back doors are in perfect alignment, energy does not linger. It races straight through, like wind in a hollow corridor. Wealth that enters your home immediately slips away, leaving nothing to sustain you. Symbolically, it is like trying to hold water in a broken vessel. From the Buddhist perspective, it mirrors a restless mind. Blessings may arrive, but without stillness, they cannot take root. 7. Sharp objects at the entrance. Knives, swords, or even artistic decorations with sharp edges might look bold or stylish, but energetically, they are harbingers of conflict. Sharpness at the threshold is like a blade at the heart of the family. It slices harmony into fragments. Arguments, misunderstandings, and hostility often fester in households that keep such items near the entrance. Beyond superstition, even psychology affirms that jagged, aggressive shapes in a living environment heighten tension and subconscious aggression.
If mistakes at the entrance silently block your path, then the remedies are not grand rituals, but simple, sacred gestures that realign your home with abundance. Every object placed at the threshold carries meaning. Every action you take becomes a ritual of welcome. When done with intention, even the smallest adjustment transforms your door into a radiant beacon that attracts prosperity. A clean welcome mat. Place a fresh, clean mat at the front door. To most, it is just fabric underfoot. But in spiritual symbolism, it is the gesture of hospitality to fortune. The mat absorbs the dust of the outside world, preventing impurities from entering, while simultaneously extending a silent invitation to wealth, health, and harmony. You are welcome here. Choose colors like red, gold, or earthy tones, for they resonate with stability and prosperity in Feng Shui. A wind chime of metal or bamboo. Hung above the doorway, the gentle ringing of a chime becomes more than sound. It is energy in motion. Bronze, brass, or bamboo chimes stir the stagnant air, scattering lurking negativity. Their vibrations echo like mantras in the wind, announcing to the universe that this space is alive, sacred, and ready for good fortune. Each note whispers reassurance to the subconscious, easing tension while pulling in waves of positivity. A flame to light the path. A single candle or a small lamp glowing near the entrance transforms darkness into a beacon. In Feng Shui, light is the messenger of clarity. In spiritual traditions, it is the guide for wandering blessings. A warmly lit entryway does not only attract prosperity, it gives everyone who steps inside the sense that they are entering a sanctuary, a place protected and nourished by fire's sacred glow. To the human psyche, it plants the feeling of safety and welcome. Living greenery. A small plant at the doorway is not mere decoration, it is a guardian of growth. Ivy, snake plant, or bamboo are all potent symbols of life's unstoppable force. Their roots cling to the earth, while their leaves stretch toward the sky, bridging two realms. In ancient belief,
Plants at the threshold act as filters. They absorb impurities from the outside world while radiating vitality into the home. To see them each day reminds the subconscious that your wealth too is alive, growing, and multiplying. A door that breathes cleanliness. Perhaps the simplest yet most powerful of all remedies is cleansing the door itself. Once a week, wipe the door and frame with a cloth dipped in salt water or infused with citrus essential oils. This is not just cleaning, it is ritual purification. Salt, as the crystal of purification, strips away lingering negativity. Citrus oil awakens and refreshes, leaving behind an aura of clarity and brightness. Each cleansing becomes an offering, saying to the universe, this home is ready, this heart is open. Individually, these gestures may seem small, but together they weave a tapestry of energy at the entrance, a mat that welcomes, a chime that sings, a flame that guides, plants that guard, and a door that shines with purity. The entrance becomes no longer a passive threshold, but an active magnet for blessings. And so, while others leave their doors neglected, you will have quietly built a sacred gate, a place where fortune recognizes its home and prosperity finds a reason to stay.
At first glance, placing a mat, hanging a chime, lighting a candle, or cleaning the door may look like nothing more than decoration and household chores. But beneath these small acts lies a hidden current of power, one that science, mysticism, and spirituality all acknowledge in different ways. When combined, they reveal why cleansing and harmonizing the entrance of your home is one of the most effective rituals to invite wealth and well-being. The science of environment and the human brain. Modern psychology and neuroscience have long proven that our surroundings shape our inner state. A cluttered, dark, or broken entryway unconsciously signals to the brain that life is chaotic and unsafe. This constant stress releases cortisol, draining energy and making us prone to procrastination, fear, and stagnation. In contrast, a bright, clean, and welcoming entrance stimulates the release of dopamine, the motivation molecule. Dopamine brings focus, energy, and the quiet excitement that drives humans toward opportunity. In essence, a harmonious doorway hacks the brain, shifting it into a state where success becomes not only possible, but natural. The Feng Shui principle of mouth of Qi. Thousands of years before modern psychology, Feng Shui masters understood this truth in another language. They called the main door the mouth of Qi, the very place where life force enters to nourish the home. If the mouth is blocked, if energy is reflected back or contaminated, then the household suffers, money slips away, arguments flare, health declines. But when the mouth is open, bright, and pure, positive qi flows in freely, circulating like oxygen, feeding every room, every family member. In this perspective, cleaning and energizing the entrance is not about decoration. It is about opening the veins of fortune itself. The Buddhist perspective, cleansing the outer, purifying the inner. Buddhism teaches that the outer world reflects the inner world. To sweep the floor, to wash the doorway, to clear clutter at the threshold is not just housework, it is meditation in motion. As the dirt is wiped away, so too are the shadows of attachment and confusion within the mind. When the door shines, the heart shines. When the heart is pure, karma shifts, blessings approach naturally, and suffering loses its grip. To a Buddhist monk, wiping the entrance with salt water is no less sacred than chanting a mantra, for both are acts of mindfulness that invite clarity. The fusion of the three. When seen together, science, Feng Shui, and Buddhism do not contradict each other, they complete one another. Science explains the chemicals and brain responses. Feng Shui explains the invisible energy flows. Buddhism explains the spiritual and karmic mirror of the act.
Together, they form a complete truth. The entrance is not just wood and hinges, but a sacred portal where psychology, energy, and spirit converge. So when you light a small flame, when you hang a chime, when you wash the door with salt water, you are not only making your house look nice, you are reprogramming your mind, opening the veins of Qi and polishing the mirror of the soul.
In California, there was a family who made two very small changes. They removed a mirror facing their front door and placed a single green plant by the entrance. Within just a few months, they noticed something different. The tension in their home seemed lighter, and the flow of business brought in more new contracts than ever before. In Japan, many people treat cleaning the front door each morning as a spiritual ritual. For them, wiping the entrance is not just about dust or dirt. It is like opening a new pathway for fortune and fresh energy to enter with the rising sun. The front door of your home is far more than just wood, glass, or metal. It is a gateway between worlds. It is the sacred threshold where your private life meets the infinite currents of the universe. Every time you pass through it, you are not only entering or leaving your home, you are crossing a spiritual boundary. In Buddhism, the act of keeping the entrance clean is compared to cleansing the mind. When the doorway is clear, bright, and respected, the heart also becomes open, and blessings naturally flow in. In Feng Shui, the front door is called the mouth of Qi, the very place where energy, opportunities, and wealth are invited to enter. And in psychology, this sacred act shapes your subconscious. When you care for the door, your brain registers readiness, safety, and abundance. Think of it this way. When your doorway is cluttered, blocked, or ignored, you are unconsciously telling the universe, "I am not ready." But when you polish it, decorate it with plants, or light a small candle near it, you are whispering to the cosmos, "I welcome light, fortune, and harmony into my home." The door does not simply open to the street. It opens to possibility, to destiny, to everything you wish to manifest. When you respect your threshold, you are in fact respecting your own future. Do not underestimate the power of this simple practice. Tonight, when the world quiets down, stand before your front door. Look closely. Ask yourself, does it radiate warmth or does it repel? Is it clean and bright or tired and neglected? Is it a portal for blessings or a wall against them? If you discover any of the 7 mistakes we have revealed, a mirror facing the door, clutter blocking the entry, darkness or neglect, do not wait until tomorrow. Correct them now. Place a small green plant, hang a wind chime, light a gentle candle, or simply wipe the surface with salt water as an act of purification. You may think this is just a ritual, but watch carefully. Within days or weeks, your mood shifts, relationships soften, and unexpected opportunities begin to arrive. Prosperity does not always enter with thunder. Sometimes it tiptoes quietly through a well-kept door. So ask yourself, is my door truly open to abundance? If not, tonight is the night to change it, because the universe is always ready to knock, but only if you are ready to open.